Hi guys, I hope you are all well and smiling. What a full-on weekend and few days we've just lived through. There's been so much going on, like here in Australia with the amazing demonstrations. It's been so good to see such big crowds being pulled and so many new eyes opening to the corruption and the agendas that are going on around us. So that's amazing. And yet at the same time, I'm sure you guys have seen what's been happening in Victoria with the snap lockdown and police brutality, and it's just such a shocking difference between states in the same country, isn't it? I live hours out of Melbourne. We moved out last year to escape the shit show that was going on there. Just the negativity and just so many people being so caught up in, I guess, the corruption and the things that they were being told, the narrative that's been given. And, I don't really follow mainstream. We were just laughing during the week about this snap lockdown and all the new lingo that comes out each time. And yeah, I had to go to the shops on Saturday and it was just incredible to see this far out, 4 hours out, over 4 hours out of Melbourne driving, and in a place where there has never been a single case, every single person other than us wearing a mask and following the directions, buying into that narrative. And it's really shocking. It's really shocking because, with the people that I am talking to every day and chatting with and interacting with online, and my friends and thankfully most of my family, these people are awake. And then I go out on the streets and see the level of fear, and I'm just like, oh wow, like how many months have we gotten through in Victoria with this same story? What have you people done? Have you not done any research other than watching the shit show propaganda that is the nightly news? And it's just really disturbing. But yes, interesting times. Just a reminder, on the 26th of June coming up, we have our walk around Australia and around the world for children, which is really exciting. It's really starting to gain momentum, and we've had a lot of people jumping in, letting us know that they would love to come and speak, that they're bringing along groups, that they're getting prepared. So I think it's such an important time. Like, wow, there's so many narratives going on and there's so many focuses that I think are absolutely ridiculous, like how many people are actually being affected by this flu, as opposed to the 35,000 children that are reported as sexually abused in Australia each year. So this is such an important time for us to raise awareness for children, to really provide people that are opening their eyes to this for the first time good information and a support network. And it's all about those connections, and it's all about us supporting each other that's going to really create a new world and a new future that we can really be proud of in this country. Speaking of which, I wanted to share with you today, I had one of our lovely supporters, Stephen, sent in a statement that I've read some time ago, but I was reading it again this week and I was just like, wow, this really highlights, the level of corruption and also the level of survivor shaming that occurs in Australia. Despite the fact that, we know our courts only have a 1% conviction rate on rape charges, I should say. There is so much survivor shaming that happens. There's so much disbelief and this proof, that proof. It needs to have been within this many years, like when people come forward and actually want to, seek justice and talk about their abuse. And on the other side of that, there's also, so much suppression of survivors speaking out while they're trying to take things through the criminal justice system. And it really highlights the need for such massive changes to be made to the systems that exist in Australia to actually protect our children and work for the people. So this statement comes from a man called Tim Roy. He made a statement to the sex crime squad in the New South Wales Police, and he's an Australian survivor that's come forward trying to get his story out, and obviously has written a book to do that as well, called Big Tim, Little Tim. And so I'm going to read you out his statement. So in my formal statement, I provided New South Wales Police with the names of high-profile pedophiles who raped me between the ages of 5 and 10 years. These men would not touch boy victims over the age of 10 years because children 10 and under could not provide witness testimony to court. My perpetrators included Roger Climpson, a TV personality, Gordon Moyes, a pastor and former 2GB radio owner announcer, Alan Jones, a 2GB radio announcer, John Singleton, an advertising executive and former 2GB radio station owner, John Laws, a 2GB radio announcer. The pedophile activities of these men were documented in my father's diaries, which contain carbon copies of letters written to him by John Laws. As a manager and ritual abuse advocate, Liz Mulliner witnessed the content of these diaries, which I gave her to read. Liz Mulliner later failed to assist police and support me by testifying to their existence and the content of these diaries. My father worked at Darrick Boys' Home, where John Singleton, John Laws and Alan Jones would conduct weekend visits and take Darrick boys away from the home for the weekend, under the guise that they were giving them a social weekend outing. Instead, Singleton, Jones and Laws would rape the children in their private homes and include the children in ritual abuse, during which they would chant, "We take these boys, vitality for our own virility. We take these boys, virility for our own vitality." It's just revolting, reading survivor statements like that and wondering over the last 30, 40, 50 years, despite so many survivors coming forward, both over, cases within families, cases with people in the community, and also so many survivors coming forward and speaking out against really high profile people, powerful people, people that are prominent in society, and what's being done. Tim Roy is not the only person that's spoken out, the only survivor that's spoken out against these people. I know, several survivors have actually come forward and spoken out accusing Alan Jones. And we have articles that independent journalists have put forward as well, showing that Alan Jones was writing love letters to, kids in his class. There's definitely enough evidence there to warrant an investigation. And this comes back to the New South Wales Police report that's been suppressed from any further investigation. And it's time for Australia to wake up. We need to stand together as people, stand together for our children, and really demand the changes that are so needed in this society. Enough is enough. There's suppression of information because a person is prominent, because a person is accused of being a perpetrator is not good enough. I don't have the answers of the best way forward, but this is a question that we need to be addressing as a society. Stop the survivor shaming. We need to start listening to these people, bringing these stories together and investigating them. And really, what is the problem with investigating them? If these accused perpetrators are not guilty, wouldn't they want an investigation to clear their name? So there you go. That's another little bit of dirt on the Australian awful Australian history of child abuse being covered up. So thank you for all you are doing. Thanks for everyone raising awareness around June 26th. It's going to be an amazing day for Australians and people all over the world to stand together and raise awareness for our children and demand a future that we can all be proud of. Chat to you soon, guys. Bye.